Chapter 7. Cost Accounting System. Learning Objectives. Discuss the cost accounting system. Differentiate between integral and non-integral accounting system. Identify the ledgers maintained under integral and non-integral accounting system. Prepare reconciliation statement for cost and financial accounts. Non-integrated accounting system. The important ledgers to be maintained under non-integrated accounting system. Cost ledger. Stores ledger. Work in process ledger. Finished goods ledger. Principal accounts. Cost ledger control account. Stores ledger control account. Wages control account. Manufacturing or production or works or factory overhead control account. Work in process control account. Administrative overhead control account. Finished goods control accounts. Selling and distribution overhead control account. Cost of sales account. Costing profit and loss account. Overhead adjustment account. Scheme of entries. Material. A. Purchase 5,000, credit or cash. 1. Material control account. Debit. 5,000. To cost ledger control account 5,000. 2. Stores ledger control account. Debit. 5,000. To material control account 5,000. Note, sometimes material control account is dispensed with and entries are directly made into stores ledger control account, giving a credit to cost ledger control account. B. Purchases worth 500 for special job. Work in process ledger control account, debit. 500. To cost ledger control account 500. C. Material returned to vendor 500. Cost ledger control account. Debit. 500. To store ledger control account 500. D. 1. Material, direct, issued to production 1000. Work in process control account. Debit. 1000. To store ledger control account 1000. 2. Material, indirect, issued to production 200. Production overhead control account. Debit. 200. To store ledger control account 200. E. 1. Material worth 200 returned from shop to stores. Stores ledger control account. Debit. 200. To work in process control account 200. 2. Material worth 100 is transferred from job 1 to job 2. Job 2 account. Debit. 100. To job 1 account 100. F. Material worth 100 is issued from stores for repairs. Production overhead control account. Debit. 100. To stores ledger control account 100. Labor. G. Direct wages paid to workers 1000. Wages control account. Debit. 1000. To cost ledger control account 1000. H. Indirect wages paid to workers in the production 700. 1. Wages control account. Debit. 700. To cost ledger control account 700. 2. Production overhead control account. Debit. 700. To wages control account 700. I. Indirect wages paid to workers in administration 500. 1. Wages control account. Debit. 500. To cost ledger control account 500. 2. Administration overhead account. Debit. 500. To wages control account 500. J. Indirect wages paid to workers in selling and DIST department 300. 1. Wages control account. Debit. 300. To cost ledger control account 300. 2. Selling and DIST overhead account. Debit. 300. To wages control account 300. Direct expenses. K. direct expenses incurred 500 for job number 12. Job number 12 account, WIP control account. Debit 500. To cost ledger control account 500. Overheads. L. Overhead expenses incurred 500, production 150. Administrative 150, selling and distribution 200. Production overhead control account. Debit 150. Administrative overhead control account. Debit 150. Selling and DIST. Overhead control account. Debit 200. To cost ledger control account 500. M. Carriage inward, direct to factory, 100. Production overhead control account. Debit 100. To cost ledger control account 100. N. Production overhead recovered 1000. Work in process ledger control account. Debit 1000. To production overhead control account 1000. O. Administrative overhead recovered 500 from finished goods. Finished goods ledger control account. Debit 500. To administrative overhead control account 500. P. Selling and distribution overhead 100 recovered from sales. Cost of sales account. Debit 100. To selling and DIST. Overhead control account 100. Q. Under recovery of overheads. Costing profit and loss account. To administrative overhead control account. R. Over recovery of overheads. Production overheads control account. To costing profit and loss account. Sales. S. Cost ledger control account. To costing profit and loss account. Profit/loss. T. In case of profit. 1. Costing profit and loss account. To cost ledger control account. U. In case of loss. 2. Cost ledger control account. To costing profit and loss account.